Hey YouTube, coming back at you today with another video on the 1903 A4 build. For those of you who have not been watching my videos, I've been making a few videos on the updates I've been doing to build this rifle that you see in front of you here. This is not a real World War II 1903 A4, however it is made off of GI parts. The only things that really aren't GI is the stock and the barrel. Those and a few minor other things, but the barrel is a Criterion barrel and the stock is from Numrich. But everything else is USGI. The receiver is Smith Corona. The mount is a real Redfield mount from it's a commercial Redfield mount from probably the late 40s, early 50s. And this is something I'll talk about here in a minute that is updated or upgraded or I don't know what you want to call it. I put this on recently, but everything else on it is USGI pretty much. So let's get into it. If you've been watching my videos, you know I've been building a 1903 A4 rifle. I couldn't afford a real World War II 1903 A4 because they're like $3,000 plus. So I decided to build my own. And if you've been watching my videos, you've kind of seen how I've done that. The most recent thing I've done to this rifle is I ended up putting a Lyman Alaskan 2.5 power fine crosshair scope on here. Came with the original leather caps and the 7/8 inch split vertical rings. I got those off eBay for a package deal, which is actually a really good price in my opinion. So yeah, the rifle's done now, guys. I went out and shot it today, and darn thing shoots great. I got four bullets in one hole at 100 meters. So I'm really happy with that. It's sub MOA for this gun, and it's going to do exactly what I want it to for vintage sniper competitions and for hunting and just for fun plinking. So here it is, guys. It's a finished product. As you can see, I ended up mounting the Lyman Alaskan with the turrets in front of the front ring here. That way, as you can see, it is unloaded. I did that so I can use my safety. I can turn it all the way on and off, which is quite nice. With the 330C or Weaver K2.5 scope, you would flip the safety and it would only go to about there. You couldn't actually flip it all the way over and lock the bolt. So that's kind of neat. With the Lyman Alaskan, you can do that. And also, I went out and shot it, and you can shoot it in prone just fine. You don't get scope eye or anything like that. So that's pretty important to me as well, because I like shooting prone with the 1907 sling. The Weaver K2.5 actually stuck back to right about where my finger is. So shooting prone, that was really close to your eye. You're pretty capable of getting scope eye, getting bit by that guy. And plus the Lyman Alaskan was it's a correct scope for the 1903 A4. It wasn't used a lot on it in World War II. However, it was used, and they ended up using it on the M1C and M1D as well. But it's definitely more correct than a Weaver K2.5. So, like I said, here's the finished product, guys. Sanded the stock down, stained it with oh shoot, what is that stain from? Chestnut Ridge stain mixed with some dark brown leather dye. Let that sit, and then I put like 13 or 14 coats of boiled linseed oil on here, and that's the way the stock turned out. All the gray parts you see are zinc phosphate parkerizing. I got the zinc phosphate from Brownells, and I read the directions, boiled it with distilled water. Well, not boiled it, but I got it up to temperature with distilled water, seasoned it with iron, and that's what came out. I did the mount, the bolt, the extractor, and all of these rings. So that's zinc phosphate, kind of gave it a light gray color, which I like. Criterion barrel, and everything on this is GI, like I said, except for the stock and the barrel. And if you want to count the Redfield mount, this is from the same time period, and so is the ring, so is the scope. The bolt itself was originally an A3 bolt that was cut off, re-welded, and I turned it down myself. And it does clear this scope just fine now. I cut that notch out. Doesn't look exactly like a real A4 notch, but however, it does fit this bolt pretty well. Ended up putting the cartouche on it. So there's the FJA and Cross Cannons cartouche. When I was doing that, I actually ended up cracking the stock because I'm an idiot and I didn't have it level, and I hit it with a hammer and the punch, and it ended up splitting the stock. They're putting a hairline crack in it right here, as you can see, and I ended up well, this is where I ended up deciding to refinish the entire stock because I put a crack in it. So I soaked it with mineral spirits and got all the oil and everything out of there. Split that crack open by taking the trigger guard out, putting a fat piece of wood in there, so it split the crack open. Put some glue in there, pulled that wood out, clamped it, let it sit overnight and dry. And I didn't use normal glue, I used epoxy. And then I went ahead and drilled 2 holes and put some brass pins in there, brass screws, cut them off, flushed them out, and in the process resanded the entire stock and put Chestnut Ridge stain with dark brown leather dye and let that sink in and dry. And then I did a whole bunch of coats of boiled linseed oil. And this is the product, the final product. Really brought out the grain, and I'm pretty darn happy with this straight grain walnut. It looks a lot better than it did when it came to me from Doomrich, even though I did put that crack in there. But hey, that just adds character. But this is the finished product, guys. I'm pretty proud of it. A lot of fun to shoot. Highly recommend building one if you want to get into CMP vintage sniper matches. And this Lyman Alaskan does not have the post. It has the fine crosshairs, which is what I prefer. Super fine crosshairs, gives you precise hits on the target. And like I said, under an inch is what you get. So anyways, guys, hope you liked the video. Take care.